Dr. Jian Yang.
You're a turnip, son.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, first of all, I do have respect for my Foreign Affairs, Defense and Trade Select Committee colleague, Fletcher Taputo. I understand we both were academics before becoming into politics, and you were teaching international economy. I was teaching international relations. However, this particular bill is very disappointing. This is a poorly drafted bill. There is an anti-trade bill and a political stunt. Now, this bill would prohibit New Zealand entering into international agreements that include provisions for investor-state dispute settlement, or ISDS. The bill's purpose is to, quote, protect New Zealand laws and to protect the public interest. What a misleading statement. New Zealand laws and public interests are protected in all New Zealand's trade and investment agreements, including those that provide for compulsory ISDS. We are aware of the potential risks that ISDS provisions could pose if we do not negotiate very carefully. When the Foreign Affairs, Defense and Trade Select Committee was examining our trade with Republic of Korea, we discussed this ISDS issue at length. Clearly, it is possible to design mechanisms that carefully balance the protection of New Zealand investors abroad with the need to safeguard the government's right to regulate for legitimate public policy purposes. ISDS is not new. It has been there for quite a few years. Now, New Zealand has extended ISDS to a number of countries or trading partners, including our trading partner China in 2008, when we negotiated or reached FTA agreement with China in 2008, and then to Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, in 2009, and the same year to Malaysia. No ISDS claim has ever been brought against the New Zealand government. So this is an anti-trade bill, but we all know that trade is particularly important to our economy. It plays an independent and positive role in raising incomes. Of course, New Zealand First does not care too much about our economy and does not have genuine interest in raising incomes for New Zealanders. Now, they have been running this scaremongering campaign of foreigners taking over New Zealand. Now, Mr. Speaker, when National took office in 2008, the world economy was suffering from a global financial crisis. And New Zealand economy is in recession, right? And the future for our economy in those years was absolutely gloomy. Well, it was forecast that our unemployment rate would hit 11%, and then our debt could reach over 60% of our GDP. In those years, that was forecast. But we all can see that we have walked out of this financial crisis and economic difficulty. One important factor was our FTAs with various countries, particularly of FTA with China. So in 2008, New Zealand became the first and only OECD country to conclude a free trade agreement with China. Now, Labour could take credit for that. Now, since the signing of FTA, New Zealand's exports to China have grown significantly from $2.3 billion in 2008 to $6.7 billion in 2012, and then $9.96 billion in 2013. And our trade relations with China was a key factor for New Zealand to come out of the global financial crisis earlier than many other OECD countries. Had this bill become an act before 2008, then our trade with China would have suffered, and our economy would have been in a very bad situation. So this is how damaging this bill could be. Now, Mr. Speaker, the first FTA this bill would prevent proceeding is the Korean FTA, which is currently before Parliament. But the fact is, our exporters to South Korea have been paying $229 million a year. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.